deers in the eyes. I have no idea who I am. I think it's everyone's own journey, right? We are all on this path to discovery and helping our brains, helping our nervous system to reset, rewire, and reoperate from a place of ease and not pressure. Everything looked great and perfect and super successful from societal standards on the outside. When we are able to take back control over our energy, we're able to take back control over our thoughts. There's this silent numb that we don't talk about.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to In the Making, where we dive into transformative journeys and groundbreaking insights that inspire change. Today, we are joined by Dr. Jennifer Blossom, a renowned occupational therapist, entrepreneur, and founder of Blossom to be Fit, a thriving wellness platform. Dr. Jen has dedicated her life to empowering busy moms and high achieving women to lead healthy, intentional lives, balancing wellness, motherhood, and personal growth. Her expertise in mindset, wellness, and time management is nothing short of transformative. We are about to explore her journey and how she is helping women reclaim control of their lives. Are you ready? Because we are going to dive into the magic of balance, resilience, and purposeful living. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be here and to have these conversations.
So amazing to see all the work that you're doing on social media platform. And while we are virtual, it just feels so authentic and beautiful. We hear a lot about the need to fill your own cup, but it's becoming more of a catchphrase than action. How do
Mhm.
you turn this idea into something real and tangible in the lives of busy, overwhelmed women?
I love this question. And I also always challenge it with why are we limited to a cup? Like you were saying, such a buzz phrase right now. And so the way in which we can really just shed that and get into this life of overflow is to connect. We're so used to looking externally for the quick fixes to feel great, to have a hit of that or a dopamine hit of the excitement or the adrenaline rush. But in reality, it's when we can strip away all of the distractions and get back to what it means for us to be connected at our core and what it means to live in that overflow. And at the end, it's always a feeling, it's always an emotion. And so we can identify that, connect, and align our life to that. I mean, that's where the overflow happens.
Yeah, we talk about self care like a checklist item, but
Right.
real self care is so much more deeper. It's about nurturing the soul and recognizing that you're worthy of the same love and attention you give to others. For me, hiking is
Mm.
my soul connection. I take hiking trips once or twice a year. They're short and sweet, but for me, that is connecting to nature to know my real self, to my true self.
Yes. Yes.
And society puts immense pressure on women to bounce back physically and mentally after major life events, especially childbirth. How
Mhm.
do you challenge, Jennifer, this narrative and promote real, sustainable healing?
I think it's everyone's own journey, right? We are all on this path to discovery. And I feel the ebbs and flows evolves after each major life season, whether it is having kids or a new career or whatever that next chapter looks like. And so it's just being intentional and understanding who we are at our core and honoring that through every season of our life. And I love what you said about getting out in nature, right? It's those simple moments throughout our day where we're able to create the stillness and reteach our nervous system how to embrace that. Because what we're seeing now in life is most people structuring their days operating from a speed of the checklist, rinse, wash, and repeat tomorrow. And we find ourselves in dire need of a break, in dire need of a vacation, get reset for a week, and then we're right
Yeah.
back at it. The reality is living with intention, living with purpose, helping our brains, helping our nervous system to reset, rewire, and reoperate from a place of ease and not pressure. We really want to be able to awaken this part of us and to be able to live different.
Well, that's so well said. I love it absolutely. And I've told this to so many of my the people I've coached is healing is not about returning to who you are. It's about evolving into what you're meant to be after that challenge. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. But sometimes even acknowledging that your cup is empty is the first step to healing.
Right. Right.
Um, your an advocate for time management, but more so for energy management. Can you explain how managing energy is more effective than just managing time, especially for women who are balancing careers and family?
Yeah, this question is so near and dear to my heart because it is what led to a season of complete masking for myself. And in the sense of everything looked great and perfect and super successful from societal standards on the outside, but on the inside, it was the lowest and most broken and just bottomed out I have ever been and my family has ever been as a unit. And it was in that season of complete brokenness that I was able to discover, oh my gosh, if we're not managing our energy well, in the sense of our thoughts, our habits, our actions, our relationships, right? We're going to bottom out. And so we see is a bunch of energy leaks throughout our day. It leads to this cognitive, mental, emotional, spiritual burnout. And so when we are able to take back control over our energy, we're able to take back control over our thoughts. And we're able to manage thoughts that drain us, that aren't welcome, that have taken on lifespans of their own, and clean all of that up. From that aspect, we're able to manage our habits, our behaviors, and align those two together, how we interact with others. And we're able to have awareness of habits that don't serve us, relationships that don't serve us. We begin this uber awareness or
Yeah.
point our attention, and we
Mhm.
can begin to create the habits to patch those holes up. It's this beautiful process. It sounds like it just flows off the tongue and easy, but it's the daily work to recognize and manage that energy because we can function well and have immense high functioning burnout on the inside. And that's where we crash and burn energetically.
Oh, wow, so well said. And I have coached people so many times and said, we all have 24 hours, but how we use our energy in those hours can make or break that day. The way we pour into our priorities is where the magic happens.
Right.
And I've done that. I am to blame too. When I'm with kids, sometimes I'm constantly checking my phone, but that's a reminder. My
Right.
kids have
Right.
they've come back to me and said, "Mom, you were on the phone like forever. You've not even looked at us today." And
Yes.
in that moment, I had a realization that even if you give 15 minutes of productive time to those kids, that is so much more valuable than probably 100.
Yes. That's exactly right. It's that cliche, but there's so much truth to it of quality over quantity, right? Because if we're with our kids and we have that, interrupted 15 minutes of quality time versus a full day of mom or whoever being distracted, it's completely different.
And you've spoken about the power of saying no to things that don't align with your purpose.
Mhm.
How
Mhm.
can we normalize this setting boundaries as a form of self care and empowerment for women, especially in leadership roles?
I think just understanding the concept that every yes you say is a no to something else, right? So if we say yes to this extra work project or yes to this career advancement, we're saying no to the sake of XYZ, right? More time with our kids, or less time with our kids, less time with, ourself and our meditation, our prayer, our workout. So it's figuring out what are your true and pure yeses in this season. That concept too is so important because your strong yeses are going to change throughout your seasons as your kids get older. Or maybe we have listeners who don't have kids and there's different priorities for whatever season she is in, but it's understanding what a strong yes means to you, that you are 100% all in and you want to put your energy towards that because we can be lukewarm, but then other things are going to fall because of that.
I agree. And we all should have boundaries, like a gate that protects our peace. And a lot
Yes.
of times we ignore and we forget about that.
Yes.
So, with the rise of wellness trends on social media, from clean eating to biohacking, how do you cut through the noise and help women focus on what actually matters for their health?
I love, love, love this question. I feel like there is so much noise out there, right? Today. And
Mhm.
one of the best ways that we can just tune into what the body needs is to eat as closest to the earth as we can.
Mm,
And so we don't have to overcomplicate anything. If it comes in a package, like fine, fine. And try to get as close to the source as you can. And so being able to create that mindset and that frame of lens and being able to infuse your day to day nutrition with that approach is going to be so helpful and just an infusion of nutrition for us as women on a cellular level. And I love practically doing this too with smoothies. And I feel like
Yeah.
smoothies are such an easy, powerful option for us. I do 2 smoothies a day, actually. My first meal of the day is a green smoothie. I've been doing it for years. And so just the real, just intense hit of quality nutrition, all organic, that just replenishes, resets the cells, just gets great vitamins and minerals into the bloodstream. And then a big protein smoothie at the end of the day also. Just different ways that we can infuse creativity in the foods that we eat so it's not so bland and so boring. There's just amazing ways to be able to do that.
Wow. So first of all, the audience is listening. So we need the number one recipe. Let's break it down for them because I'm sure if I was on the other side listening, I'm like, no, I need the recipe, what she's talking about.
Yes. Okay, so the green smoothie is actually we call the glowing green smoothie, and it's from a nutritionist called Kimberly Snyder, who I got from years and years ago. And I don't think this is her exact recipe, but it's some iteration of it. So we just fill up like our Vitamix with 32 ounces of water, stuff it full of spinach. So that's the trick, is that other greens like kale or the mixed greens or lettuce, they all take on a weird taste in like
So
smoothie juices,
true.
whereas
Uh-huh.
like spinach is bland. And so we do spinach, we do a full lemon, ginger, like ginger root, turmeric root, celery, cucumber, and then some frozen mango. So that's like an iteration ish of her smoothie, but I don't measure anything except for the water and the spinach, and I just throw it all in there. And then obviously, like I cut the rind off the lemon and the ginger and turmeric, and then blend the heck out of it. And it's so silky smooth, it drinks like a juice.
Yeah.
And then we just pour it in mason jars, and it keeps in the fridge for a few days. You just grab and go for a quick breakfast, and our kids love it. The frozen mango does add a nice like sweet flavor to it, but we've been doing that for years. It's so good.
And I have to say that I do all of that like 3 or 4 times a week, minus the
Yes.
frozen mango. So I'm going to start adding that.
Yes, the frozen mangoes add a real smooth touch to it.
Yeah, and I want to tell the audience that wellness is not a marathon, not a sprint, but the real work happens when we turn the noise and tune into our bodies. I have body shamed myself for years, and I
Mm,
have come to realization that my body is mine and I don't need
yes.
to compare it with anybody on social media because what is your comparison?
Right. Right.
I'm still on the curvy side, and I have to say, I'm feeling thankful that all my reports have come normal for a consistent of 3 years. So stop comparing and start living. I love what Jennifer live as close to earth as possible. That's something that's going to stick with me for a long time. I'm a foodie, so on a normal 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, we try to eat pretty good. But on Saturdays, I love to explore foods, different cultures, different types of food. But
It's so good, and everything in moderation, right? It's so important to enjoy life and not live with a rigid approach to food that we don't enjoy it. But if we can try to aim for that 80% of our days and in our weeks to just like you were saying, just be as close to the earth as we can and enjoy the other instances, we can find that real nice harmony.
absolutely. So the term supermom has both empowered and exhausted women. Do you think we need to retire this label? And how do you encourage women to redefine their own version of success?
Yes. Yes, I do. I love this question. I had a keynote a couple weeks ago in Florida, and we talked about the superwoman, the supermom mask, and how this woman is wearing the mask of having it all together, of pretending that everything is great on the outside, when on the inside she feels like she is just walking on eggshells and on her last leg. And I know this mask well because I wore it for years, and it's what led me to be completely numbed out for over a decade, completely out of touch with my body, with my mind, with my kids, with my spouse, like everything. It was all numbed out. And so the honesty and the transparency comes down to how our women are feeling today. Like, do you really feel connected to yourself? And if you let go of the facade of having to be the super mom, having to be the superwoman, and just be fully who you are called to be. And oftentimes that question is met with tears in the eyes. I have no idea who I am. That's the beautiful work you get to start doing and unmasking, unlayering, and figuring out who you are at this point in your life and all that has made you who you are and all that you're being called to become without the striving, without the artificial rat race. And there's just this beauty and this authenticity and just of that self-discovery, which oftentimes we hear about, but we aren't fully connected to. And so it's learning how to release from the facade and defining what that quote unquote success looks like for you. And at the end of the day, that success again is all about a feeling. We want to feel loved. We want to feel impactful. We want to feel connected. We want to feel peace. We want to feel joy. I mean, it's the richness of life that so many people and women specific especially are reaching externally for. So it's letting go of all of that and embracing all that you are. Sounds way easier and way more cliche than it is. But the reality of that, embracing into our fullness and living out that fullness is the most beautiful gift you can give yourself and to those around you.
I agree 100%. Successful women isn't about checking every checkbox. It's about living in alignment with your body, your purpose, with grace, and just without apology. Don't
Yes.
be apologetic for anything that you do
Right.
in life. We all
Right.
have one life to live. We all, I don't know why we are tagged as super moms.
Right. Well, it's just this message that we're inundated with, and then the fire of social media feeds into it, and it's this silent pressure that so many women can feel, and we're in the rat race ourselves. So it's this new wave of awareness and having that compassion with yourself, because awareness is the first step. And once we have that awareness, we can take the next step of putting in those boundaries and those blinders of what it means to release the facade and really step into all that you are.
I know, Jennifer, you are so phenomenal. The way you talk, the way you have this conviction about telling other women your story is so magical and impactful for so many around the world. You've been doing a lot of workshops and summits. I would like you to share any particular story from your journey that, has left a profound impact in your life.
Gosh, I think man, there's been a lot. I think I think most recently it's just been the level of clients that we've been able to serve, just high level women in terms of CEOs, corporate women leading teams, managing teams, and the amount of pressure they have felt over all of these years to have it all together, to keep it all together, but the hardness in their hearts and their souls that they don't want to feel anymore. And there's this silent numb that we don't talk about. And so there's this underlying trend that I've seen in many of our clients, this 2024 specifically, of helping them be able to take that armor off, to lay that armor down, to welcome in this softness while still completely kicking butt, right? It's not like we lay down this armor and we just flop. It is this surrender. It's the surrender of letting go of trying to white knuckle and control everything and run hard and fast from ourselves because we can't be with ourselves. And it's this meta level of awareness. So honestly, there's not one that sticks out because they've all been so impactful. It's a movement and it's a beautiful thing. It's an honor to be just a little vehicle, a little vessel in that journey for so many of these women.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. This is beautiful. And, I'm sure a lot of women and men who are hearing you today will be, so impacted by your story, your journey. Before we wrap up this episode, I do a very fun rapid fire segment, which is quick and quirky if you're up for it.
Well, I'm always up for it. Let's do it.
What's a wellness myth you think will disappear in the next 5 years?
Oh gosh. I think anything pilly, anything like quick fixy, I'm out. Like not I'm all about like this sustainable change over time.
Lose 10 kgs in 10 days. I hope that
Right.
disappears.
Right. Out. We're out.
If wellness was a song, what would be the title?
Get jiggy with it.
Ooh, I like that. One thing you wish more women would stop apologizing for.
Being themselves. We're so afraid to be who we are because we don't know who we are.
So true. What's the first thing you do when you feel a burnout is coming?
I get out of my head and into my body. So usually that's met with breath work, meditation, or movement outside.
Love it. And the last question, the most underrated wellness hack no one talks about.
Sleep.
Ooh,
Sleep. We hear it, We don't prioritize it. And without sleep, we're not getting that restoration, that recharge, that healing that our body needs on a cellular level.
Wow, that was so, so amazing. Thank you so much for being on In the Making. And thank you for sharing such valuable wisdom with us today. Your message of balance, wellness, and energy management truly resonates in a world where women are constantly expected to do it all. You've shown us today that it's not about perfection, but persistence, self awareness, and the courage to set boundaries. For everyone listening, remember, wellness starts with a small intentional change that can lead to massive transformation over time. If today's episode sparks something in you, be sure to subscribe in the making for empowering conversations with extraordinary men and women. You can catch all our episodes on Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you get to your podcast. If you need to get in touch with Jennifer, all the information is going to be in the podcast. Until next time, take care of yourself, set those boundaries, and never forget to sleep. Thank you.